Have you ever wondered how a young college student became one of the greatest scientific minds of the 20th century? Imagine a boy who loved taking apart radios, suddenly stepping into a world filled with equations, ideas, and mysteries of nature. This is the story of how Richard Feynman's college years shaped his genius, and how his early discoveries changed physics forever. Stay with me. Because what you'll hear today is not just science, it's the journey of a mind that learned how to think differently. In this video, we will explore Richard Feynman's time in college, from his entrance into MIT, to his groundbreaking graduate work at Princeton, to the early discoveries that showed the world he was a rare kind of thinker. Imagine Feynman walking across the campus, a notebook in hand, smiling, confident, curious, and ready to challenge everything he didn't understand. We'll look at how he studied, how he learned complicated ideas in simple ways, how he made his first discoveries, and how this period built the foundation for the Nobel Prize waiting ahead of him. Let's begin at the start at MIT. Richard Feynman joined MIT when he was just a teenager. He was already good at math, not because he memorized formulas, but because he loved finding out how things worked. Think about this. While most students solved problems by following steps from a book, Feynman solved problems as if he was discovering physics for the first time. During his MIT years, he explored mathematics, engineering, physics, and even philosophy of science. He had a simple personal rule: if I cannot create the idea myself, I do not understand it. MIT helped shape that rule. It was a place filled with brilliant people, but Feynman stood out because he developed a style, a way of thinking that was playful, creative, and deeply logical. After undergraduate studies, he moved to Princeton University for his PhD. That's where his life changed. Let's slow down here, because this part is very important. What made Feynman's college years special was not only where he studied, but how he thought. To understand this, imagine you are trying to learn a new idea. Most people read the book, memorize the formula, repeat it in exams, but Feynman did something completely different. He used a method later called the Feynman technique. Step 1. Understand the idea in simple words. He would explain the concept to himself, as if talking to a child. If the idea was too complicated, he knew he didn't truly understand it. Step 2. Find gaps. He looked for the missing pieces. Where am I confused? What doesn't make sense? Step 3. Go back, learn again. He returned to the book, the lecture, or the experiment to fill those gaps. Step 4. Simplify again. He repeated the process until everything became clear and simple. This technique became the secret behind his early discoveries. Feynman's early big ideas in college, even as a student, he worked on the path integral idea, the beginning of what later became his Nobel-winning work, quantum mechanics problems that confused even professors, the principle of least action, which he explained in a beautifully simple way, electrodynamics calculations that most people found too hard. Imagine this scene. Feynman is sitting in his Princeton dorm room. While others study from textbooks, he fills blank pages with his own fresh explanations. He derives formulas from scratch, not trusting anything unless he rebuilds it. This was Feynman's superpower. He didn't just learn physics, he recreated it inside his own mind. At Princeton's dining hall, Feynman saw a plate wobbling and spinning. Most people would ignore it, but he asked himself, why does the wobble go faster than the spin? This simple curiosity led him to equations that eventually inspired ideas in quantum electrodynamics. Think about this. A wobbling cafeteria plate helped shape a Nobel Prize. Even in college, he earned a reputation as the boy who fixes radios by thinking. He didn't open devices randomly. He imagined how the electrical signals moved, step by step, like water flowing through pipes. He solved problems in his mind before touching anything. Feynman often met with other students, but instead of showing off, he tried to explain concepts in the simplest way possible. If someone didn't understand, he considered it his own failure to explain clearly. His friends often said, when Feynman explains something, it suddenly looks obvious. Imagine a particle traveling from point A to point B. Most people think it takes one path, but Feynman said, what if it takes every possible path, and not physically, but mathematically? Think about this like traveling to a friend's house. You could take The main road, the back road, a shortcut, or a very long route. Feynman's idea said, "Let's consider all routes and see how nature chooses the one that works." This idea became the foundation of modern quantum mechanics. Imagine rolling a ball down a hill. The ball will naturally follow the path that requires the least effort. Nature always chooses the simplest, easiest way to happen. Feynman loved this idea because it showed the universe is logical, simple, and elegant. Reality, he worked extremely hard, he rewrote ideas, he asked questions, he failed often but corrected himself again and again. No, he struggled too, but he had the courage to say, "I don't understand," and that honesty made him smarter. Even at Princeton, he worried if his ideas were too strange, but he followed curiosity instead of fear. Because his college years show us something powerful, you don't need to be born a genius. You just need to learn how to think clearly. Feynman's method teaches us. Be curious, ask simple questions, break big ideas into small pieces, and never pretend you understand something when you don't. This mindset can help in science, business, learning, creativity. In almost anything. Voiceover, we explored how Richard Feynman's college years shaped the scientist he became. You learned how. MIT built his foundation, Princeton sharpened his creativity, his simple learning method led to deep discoveries, his early ideas prepared him for the breakthroughs ahead, and how ordinary curiosity, like a wobbling plate, can lead to extraordinary science in simple words. Feynman's college years were the beginning of a beautiful story, the story of a mind that learned how to see the universe differently. Before we end, think about this: if a spinning plate could inspire a Nobel Prize, what small thing around you might spark your next big idea? In our next video, we'll explore Feynman at Los Alamos, how a young physicist became a key figure in the Manhattan Project. So stay curious, stay excited, and keep exploring the universe with us here on Feynman Archives.